Okay, hello and welcome. This video is intended for the new developers that are coming to contribute to the Quickbook API integration for ContractFlo.com, and this video will help you to get started with what is QuickBooks. I will introduce you to the API and also explain the very first steps that we have taken to integrate that service in our platform. Okay, it's just a demo for now, but let us start with QuickBook. So before you even start, I would like to give you an advice that please take this document, and this is very important because I have already compiled a lot of links here of which steps you should take step by step to understand all of the things well, so you don't have to do that thing again. Okay, let's get started. So first of all, QuickBook integration with API integration with ContractFlo. Before starting for that, let us understand what is QuickBook. Okay, so according to Forbes Advisor and many other websites, QuickBook is it's an application which is enterprise application. It is mostly used in United States, and it provides its popular features are like inventory management and account payroll management, and most of the accounting stuff is handled by this app, and we can also do all of the tax calculation within this app. So this app is already pretty great, and integrating their features in our ContractFlo.com will also improve and benefit our users. So that is why we are looking forward to integrate that. I hope you're understanding with what is QuickBook. It provides features like payroll, commerce, online, and different things. So okay, let's get started with the API now. So before that, if you have any doubts regarding to this tab or anything that is explained in this video, feel free to reach me out on any time at this email, contact@siddheshkude.com, or you can call me on this number, or you can just search my name on LinkedIn and you will find me there. I hope that is clear to all, and let's get started. So first of all, this is a video demo showing the work that I've done so far. Just a second. Okay, I think this is okay. So this is the video. This will show you how the login is working. So basically, I've built a simple page in the web app. You can click on it and you can get logged in with the QuickBook API, but there are more steps that should be implemented in the future, and I will guide you to which steps should be implemented. Okay, so before getting started, I would like to give you some some overview. I hope I'm still recording. Let me just check. I am recording. Sorry for the dark and blurry camera, it's pretty late here and I'm outside. Okay, API integration. So anytime you integrate any API into your application or web application, there are basically 4 steps that had to be done, and these are like permanent steps. You cannot replace them or you cannot skip them. Okay, the first step is OAuth. You first have to get the OAuth sign in with that provider. Suppose you're using Google API, you have to get integrate the sign in with Google, and then and only then you will be able to get more data access from the Google. Okay, that is the first step. The second step is getting the verification tokens. So after the OAuth is completed, you have to make another request to get the verification token and that is just done to make your application, the current application, valid to be used with that provider. Okay, so if I'm using Google, or in this case we are using Intuit QuickBooks, so if we are signing it with our Intuit QuickBook account, we have to make sure we have to prove that this application that I'm using is valid. That's why we have to generate the verification token. After that, we have to validate that token, and then we'll get our access token and refresh token. Now access token and refresh token are most generally, what these, but I'll explain in a bit. Access token is used to access is used in every API call that is related to that particular provider's API, and refresh token is used to get a new access token, because access token actually expires after generally after generally after a few hours, and the refresh token expires after a pretty big amount of time, like 30 to 100 days. So that's why these are used. And if you have a question like what if these both expire, then what we should do, then we just have to sign in again. Okay, and then the last step is we are ready to use its available services. So let's get down. Okay, before starting off, what steps that need to be done? These steps I've already done, but you might need to be done on your own to set up your API. So you first have to create your account on the developer.quickbook.intuit.com, so their developer portal. Then you just have to give your email ID and password and verify your email. After that, go on to dashboard, click on create an app, choose the online payment option, or you can also uncheck if our requirements are not matching to that in the future. Then give the app a name and choose all the scopes. So again, the scopes have two options to whether to choose the online payment option or not. So if in the future we are not integrating the online payments option, don't choose that option, or you can just choose it and it doesn't actually matter because we are not going to use it. Okay, after that we can just come on this page, which is keys and auth. So I'll just show it to you. So this is how generally the developer portal looks like. You have to sign up. I have to sign in because I already have the account. Okay, we are signing in, and let me just take a look that I'm still recording. Yes. Okay, let me just check. Okay, mic is also working. Okay, so after that you have to jump on the dashboard. So there are various things going on, but you have to follow the steps to get started with this. Click on your application name and you'll get started with this window. So we don't have to do anything here. We have to click on the key create and credential options. Here you will see your client ID and client secret, and down that you also see the sandbox companies option. So basically, what is sandbox companies options? So it actually provides you an instance of the QuickBook API trial to work with. So this is not important, but we'll take a look at that later. So these are the redirect URIs. So if your application is, so after the OAuth step, after the user signs in with his QuickBook account, you have to provide an URL where the user will land to after that. So make sure you add all of these URLs here. This is pretty important. You can just click on add URI and click on save button after that. And then we have the sandbox companies option. We'll talk about it for a bit. Okay, so this will basically load out the QuickBooks app, and you can just take a look at all of the features here and manage all the things. As you can see, it is a real working QuickBooks apps, except it is a sandbox account, which means you cannot integrate it with real debit cards and all of that stuff. Okay, this is mainly used for testing. Great. Yeah, so I hope you're pretty comfortable with all of these things that are happening here. And here's copy your client ID and secret, because we are going to need them in a short time. And okay, so yeah, so just before that, let us see what is our app and what we are basically trying to do here. So this is our app. This is basically a demo of showing off that feature. So we have to click on the option, and the server and web application are running in the back, and we are signing up. Okay, after we sign up, okay, let's see. Okay, so as we can see, we have signed in now, and okay, I think it's not very clear, but okay, I'm trying. Okay, so if you can see in this URL, there is a new value that is inserted, which is code, and there is another value which is called as a realm ID. So we are going to need this in the future for the further integration. Keep that in mind. Okay, these are the these are the diagram that you can take a look at to understand the authorization workflow. And okay, so if you want to test some of the queries on your own, QuickBook has already provided the Postman collections, the public collections that you can take a look to. You just have to go onto their page and okay, you just have to go on their page and click run in Postman, and these will be added to your Postman application, and you can then see all of the API calls there. Okay, good. Now let us see what is the workflow for the REST API, right? Okay, I don't know, it's supposed to be Node.js. So to understand how the OAuth workflow is actually being implemented and what is the actual way of doing it, you just can land on this link, which gives you a playground, which actually provides you a demo of step-by-step connecting your app with the Intuit API, right? So these are all steps. You just have to, I'll show you a demo. So I'll choose my app with the sandbox version. It will automatically add my client ID and client secret. I just have to choose the scopes. So these are the exact steps that you have to implement while coding this up. Okay, the difference is that you'll actually doing this in the code instead of clicking the buttons and all. I'll explain you what the steps that we have taken to implement this, and then you can take these features further in the future. Okay, so clicking on the scopes of what we want for now, so we will go with accounting and all of these. You can also choose payment, but the payment has an issue that you have to link a debit card, and that is a bit problematic for now. So because we are just integrating this and we have not decided about the payment feature. Okay, now click on get authorization code. So this will just again follow the sign in code that we have previously seen from the video, and as you can see, the code property here is also generated, and from these two, realm ID and the code, just give me a second. Okay, I hope you can see the code here. So this is the property of code and another variable, which is this realm ID. So using these two, we are generating the authorization code, and okay, so this authorization code and realm ID are fetched from there. Okay, and after from these we can generate our access token and refresh tokens. So click on okay. So this is completed. Now we are on the step 2. Click on get tokens. So as we can see, this has performed this API request with all of these headers. So while implementing, keep in mind that you are actually copying and seeing your headers should match this. Okay, and also with this you can also cross check this from the API about if they provide any built-in solution for that. Okay, and after this is this successful output that we can see here, we are good to make more API calls. As we can see, we have achieved our access token and the refresh token as well. So for Quickbook Intuit API, the expiry is 60 minutes and 101 days. So just to keep a note of that. Okay, I think the playground is pretty I hope you can understand the playground now. You can play more with it by clicking on the link. Okay, great. Now let us see what the Node.js library that we are actually using to make the app work in our ContractFlo application. Okay, so basically this is the link for that Node.js library. Again, these are the same links. This is the library, which is ORJS client, and you can install it via just give me a second. Okay, via where was it? Yeah, via Intuit-OAuth. So this is the name on the npm.js repository, and this shows you all the steps of how to get started with this, how to authorize this. So authorization step is already done, but the further steps can be completed in the future. Okay, so you can just read through this documentation to get an idea of that. Okay, great. Now let's finally take a look at the code that we have to see of how it is implemented. So I think we should start with the front end first, because it is very simple. Okay, so basically so basically the page that we were seeing previously, which was the, just give me a second. Okay, सो बेसिकली अपन ये जो पेज देख रहे थे लॉगिन का, तो इसका कोड कहाँ पे है उसकी बात कर रहे हैं अभी तो ये फ्रंट एंड है, और यहाँ पे अपन ने एक सिंपल राउट दिया है कि test/qb एक टेस्ट का रिडायरेक्ट URL है, और इसमें ये सीड व्यू कंपोनेंट अभी डाल दिया है। सो बस ये डेमो के लिए है, इसलिए मैंने फ़ाइल का नाम ऐसे दिया है। आपको प्रॉपर एक लॉजिकल नेम देना है फाइल को। सो बेसिकली हम ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, एक सिंपल अलर्ट है और एक सिंपल बटन है दैट वी आर चेकिंग कि लॉगिन कर लो क्विकबुक से, एंड ये फंक्शन है ऊपर हैंडल क्लिक ओपन। सो यहाँ पे क्या कर रहा है, एक मिनट में जूम कर लेता हूँ। Okay, so what we are doing here is we are just creating a post request to /qb to our API with /API/qb/signin as the URL, and it is a post request, and after that request we just replacing it with the login URL. Okay, so just give me a second here. Okay, so these things are pretty simple here. There is nothing very logical. I hope you understand this stuff, and now let's see what is going on in the API. So this is the API. First of all, I'll have to show you the route folder. So these are the basically routes for all of the QuickBook operations that we have to perform. So firstly, currently we are having only single method, which is API/qb. qb stands for QuickBook/signin, and we are redirecting that to the sign-in function. Now let us see what is happening in the sign-in function. So basically, first we have to import the OAuth client from the Intuit OAuth library. After importing that, we can see the sign-in function here implemented, and this I've added as steps to get done in the future that could be done by the future developers about getting the tokens and all, and we are just exporting that here. So let's see what is happening in the sign-in function now. Sign-in has a try and catch, so if this fails we just return with an error, and that is it. And let us see what is happening here. So basically these are the keys that are required to set up the client app with QuickBooks. Okay, again, if you ask where are these keys stored currently, so currently these keys are in the server dev keys and server prod keys. Okay, I'll show you them. So these are the keys, and this is the redirect URI, and this is the client ID and client secret. So you have to add them. Okay, so now what we're doing here, we're just creating the class of the OAuth client with providing all of the properties that it requires, and you can also choose to keep this login true option, or you can delete that. That just creates a log file to get to know about the errors more, but that is completely optional. After that, we're just creating an authorized URI request on the OAuth client, and we are providing here the scopes as we did with the workflow playground. If you don't remember the workflow playground, we can just take a look at that. Just give me a second. This one, yes. So just like we choose our just give me a second, sandbox. Okay, just like we choose our options here, वैसे ही यहाँ पे भी अपने को कोड में उसका जो स्कोप्स है वो प्रोवाइड करना पड़ता है। अगर आप इसके बारे में ज़्यादा जानना चाहते हैं तो बेसिकली आपको उनकी गिटहब रेपोजिटरी जो है वो विज़िट करनी पड़ेगी, जो कि मैंने लिंक दिया है डॉक्यूमेंट में। जस्ट अ सेकंड। ओके, आफ्टर दैट ये स्टेट दे रहे हैं टेस्ट स्टेट, क्योंकि अभी हम टेस्ट कर रहे हैं। एंड आफ्टर इसके बाद जो URI जनरेट होता है वो बेसिकली अपन रिजल्ट सेंड में सेंड कर रहे हैं, और वहाँ से अपन ने देखा ये कि वो रीडायरेक्ट कर दे रहा है, और रीडायरेक्ट के बाद वो OAuth कंप्लीट करके फिर से अपने एप्लीकेशन में रीडायरेक्ट हो रहा है। सो इतना तो अभी पूरा तरह से इम्प्लीमेंटेड है और पूरा वर्किंग है। फ्यूचर में अपने को क्या करना है उसके बारे में थोड़ा बात करते हैं। सो इन फ्यूचर यू हैव टू implement the steps to get the tokens, to fetch different QuickBooks features like getting the invoices or the inventory management data and all of those things. Okay, looks like we got it entirely covered. Okay, great. Again, if you have any doubts or queries, feel free to reach me out on the email or the phone number. Thank you.